Welcome to the Paracosm Cafe TV. Have a sip with me. Greetings, fellow travelers of the mysterious and the extraordinary. I'm your host, Michael Acevedo, and you've just stepped into the Paracosm Cafe, where we brew tales of the uncanny, the unexplained, and the extraordinary. As I sip on a black Americano from Starbucks, the world outside fades away, and we embark on a journey through the surreal and the supernatural. Today, we've got a double shot of intrigue lined up for you. A spine tingling blend of inexplicable encounters that will leave you questioning the very fabric of our reality. In our first story, we join Erick from a city known for its prevalent Bigfoot encounters, city left unknown. Picture this: a crisp autumn evening, a group of friends, and a chilling encounter with elusive creatures. It's a tale that will awaken your inner adventurer and send shivers down your spine. And our second story unfolds. We journey back to the 90s, nostalgia with Edgar Ruiz from Laredo, Texas. He'll guide us through a night when the stars seem to whisper secrets, and a close encounter with gray aliens challenge the boundaries of the ordinary. So, dear listeners, as I take another sip of this rich Americano, I invite you to join me at the Paracosm Cafe, where reality and the inexplicable blend into a captivating brew. Grab your favorite coffee, find a cozy spot, and prepare to be captivated. These stories are more than just tales, they're experiences that have left an indelible mark on those who have lived them. So, without further ado, let's dive into the enigmatic, the paranormal, and the extraordinary. Welcome to the Paracosm Cafe, and thank you very much for having a sip with me tonight.
A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. So, he loses touch with reality and lives in a world of illusions. By thoughts, I mean specifically chatter in the skull, perpetual and compulsive repetition of words, of reckoning and calculating. I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, is useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. And all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because through excessive...
All right, guys, welcome back to the Paracosm Cafe. I cannot believe it's already been a week since I uploaded my first video. I think it's doing pretty good. I managed to upload it to Apple Podcast and using RSS feeds. The RSS feeds are so awesome. I even have a Wix site kind of generated that I'm working on, and the RSS feed is already showing the videos there. So that is pretty cool. I have a couple of shows that I'm working on that are not story related. In fact, I'm bringing those pieces over from my YouTube channel because everything on my YouTube channel that is alien related is getting so shadow banned on there. And to prove my point, I learned how to bulk upload YouTube shorts, and I had a series of aliens, a series on aliens, and then a series on shadow people, and the one on shadow people is just blowing up. I did have one video, one alien shorts video. It had to do with cloning. That one went to like 200 or 300 views in like a single day. I wouldn't say that it was like blowing up or anything, but compared to the other ones, which had only like 1 or 2 views, it was doing really well. And then I got a notification today that it got deleted. So I went ahead and re-uploaded it and uploaded it, and it's only got like 2 views. So whatever. I don't know why that makes a difference, but maybe whatever they're going after, right, is probably what they're doing. So they're probably cloning people. Okay. So, anyways, so I'm bringing over a piece on Missing 411. I was doing a four video series where I was progressively getting to the point of why the aliens are taking the people, and I didn't get to that final video because of time things, and then what's it called? And I was just hoping to get to at least a certain amount of views on the third video before I went over and did the fourth one. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and do it here on my podcast since it's a topic to talk about, right? And I think it's pretty awesome, which is going to tie into my next show, it has to do with the quantum Christ, right? Or the quantum Bible. Because from my perspective, the Bible is an anatomy book wrapped in quantum physics. So, like, for example, I'll be sitting there at church and the pastor's talking about things, or he's citing Bible verses, and all I'm hearing is something that's I'm sure that nobody else is hearing, right? Like, for example, when Jesus says that I'm the way, the truth, and the life, all I'm hearing is the way, the trough, and light, right? And or which one did Christ? You see, like light, life, like it's all the same to me. So like it's totally awesome. I'm hoping to get into that in that video, and if you guys, it would be awesome if you guys were to join me on that one. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So, on a side note, I've been working on a couple of catchphrases that I can use for my show. Like I've been using, what's it called? Thank you for having a sip with me. And I've been thinking about, you can't sip with us, or what the sip was that, or sip on this. uh, so I'm hoping to be able to incorporate that into the show. And I guess we'll see how it goes, man. This is kind of exciting. I've always wanted to do a podcast, and here I am. What's it called? So let's get into the show, guys. So I have a story from Edgar Ruiz and Erick. Erick had the Bigfoot encounter, and Edgar from Laredo, Texas, had the alien encounter. Um, Whenever you guys submit your stories, I'm going to leave the link to everything in the description or in the show notes. I want you guys to include a title, that way I can kind of organize them a little better, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So the title for this one is A Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind. Actually, let's get into the fifth kind. So what is the fifth kind? Let me see. Da-da-da-da-da. Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind was coined by Stephen Greer. Oh, yes. So on a side note, on my YouTube channel, I used to promote, Stephen Greer has an app called the ET Contact Tool. At the time, it was like $10, but I had to have it, right? So it's got all these cool little features. Like it has like an instrument section. It's got a magnetometer, a compass. It's got real cool tones called the crop circle tones, the Mount Shasta tones, the CSETI logo tone, the Fibonacci sequence tone. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had one of those gaming chairs, but it was called Paramat Wireless. I got it at an electronic shop. Well, anyway, it had really good bass, right? Well, one night I ended up disconnecting my phone and leaving the Fibonacci sequence. I just had it playing over and over, right? And I ended up having an encounter that night. Something came into the room or whatever. But luckily I had the cross in my fingers, and it ended up just leaving, right? From what I know. But yeah, so you guys want to have an experience, go ahead and play this on one of your gaming chairs. But the instruments, like the magnetometer, I every once in a while I would just leave it on overnight, and if your phone experiences or any kind of like electronic frequency, it'll start beeping like really loud. It's kind of annoying, but I guess it'll wake you up if something's about to happen, right? So other things it has like the meditations. It has like examples of uh, I don't know, like this different kinds of crafts and stuff, or orbs and things like that. So you guys should go check that out. I don't know if it's still on there or if it's just available on my phone, because I've had it for such a long time. So who knows? So it's called the ET Contact Tool. And it's got 3 little blue dots or circles connected. It kind of looks like a crop circle. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So anyways, yeah, so let's get back into the story. A Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind. The night that came for me. It was the summer of '99, and I was just your typical 18-year-old kid living in Laredo, Texas. Back then, my biggest concerns were my high school graduation and landing a part-time job at the local record store. Little did I know that one fateful night would change my life forever. I remember it vividly. It was a warm, humid night, and the stars above were shining so brightly. They almost seemed to be winking at me. My friends and I decided to go stargazing in the desert, a common pastime in our small border town. Armed with nothing but a beat-up telescope and a few cans of soda, we set off in my rusty pickup truck. As we ventured deeper into the desert, the air grew still, and the only sound was the crunch of gravel under our tires. The radio played a mix of 90s and alternative rock, setting the mood for our adventure. We parked the truck, set up our telescope, and began scanning the night sky. That's when I first saw it, a strange gray figure moving through the darkness. At first, I dismissed it as a trick of the imagination, maybe even a result of too much caffeine. But as it came closer, my heart began to race. It was unmistakable, a gray alien, just like the ones you'd see in those conspiracy documentaries. I couldn't believe my eyes, but there it was, hovering silently above the ground. Its large, jet black eyes seemed to pierce through the darkness, locking onto mine. Panic surged through me, and I stumbled backwards, tripping over my own feet. My friends were equally terrified, frozen in disbelief. So this means that more people had this encounter. Interesting. I wonder if we can corroborate this with another person. As I lay on the ground, I could hear a strange, high-pitched humming sound filling the air. It was as if the alien was communicating with us through some mysterious frequency. I couldn't make sense of the words, but the message felt urgent and unsettling. So I know that when these aliens they look at you, they seem to lock you in some sort of like weird trance because it happened to me, and it's almost like you start to lose sense of reality. But it seems like Edgar still had kind of control of his thoughts here. In a daze, I watched as the alien figure slowly descended to the desert floor. Its elongated fingers brushed the earth, and I could see its form more clearly now. A hairless, slender body with an otherworldly grace that sent shivers down my spine. Then, without warning, my friends and I found ourselves floating off the ground, drawn toward the alien by an invisible force. It was like a dream, or rather, like a nightmare. We were powerless, our bodies defying gravity as we drifted closer to the enigmatic visitor. As we neared the alien, extended a bony hand towards me, and I felt a surge of terror unlike anything I'd ever experienced. Okay, so if you guys look up the Skinny Bob footage, they do this thing where they pan from like its knees up, and they kind of slow down where its fingers are, and oh my God, guys, those things are so creepy. I've 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 woken up just in time to see one of those fingers coming at my face, and they are the creepiest things you'll ever see. And I mean, the little bones in the hand are so what the tarsals, metatarsals or whatever. They're like really long. But yeah, you guys should go check out that footage. It projected images into our minds, visions of a world beyond our own, of cosmic mysteries and boundless knowledge. What does that mean, though? Hours passed, and what felt like mere minutes, and as quickly as it had begun, our encounter ended. The alien released us, and we fell back to the desert floor, gasping for breath. The enigmatic visitor returned to the night sky, disappearing into the stars. My friends and I were left in awe, shaken by the encounter. We struggled to comprehend the cosmic secrets that had been revealed to us that night. It was a summer of '99 that I would never forget, and a night when I, Edgar Ruiz from Laredo, Texas, came face to face with beings from the stars, aliens of the fifth kind. Well, that is interesting story. God, I wish you had explained a little more. Hey, Edgar, if you're listening to this, I want you to write back and kind of tell me what your friends were experiencing, or they even talk about this, or what they're thinking about this story. Man, I want to actually kind of poke your brain a little bit. I want to hear more about this story. So yeah, so if you're listening, write again, man. That was awesome. So anyways, okay, so moving on to the next story. The title, Chasing Shadows, My Terrifying Bigfoot Encounter in a Land of Legends. Okay, this is where Eric... Hey there, I'm Eric, born and raised in a city where Bigfoot encounters are almost a rite of passage. You'd think living in a place known for these legends would make me fearless, but nothing could have prepared me for that night. It was a crisp autumn evening, and my buddies and I decided to head out to the woods, something we'd done 1,000 times before. You see, in our town, Sharing Bigfoot stories around a campfire was as common as swapping ghost tales, but we were about to become part of one of those stories. We parked our trucks at the edge of the forest, feeling the chill in the air and the anticipation of adventure. Armed with flashlights and a sense of invincibility, we ventured deeper into the darkness, unaware that we were about to encounter the unknown. As we walked along the trail, leaves crunching beneath our boots, we started hearing it, a low guttural growl. At first, we laughed it off, thinking it was just some local wildlife, but the growl persisted, growing louder and more menacing with each step, to the point where we started to feel the vibration within the cavity of our chest. That's when we saw it, or rather, its silhouette. Towering tall and covered in matted dark fur, the creature moved with an eerie grace through the trees. My heart raced as I realized we were in the presence of something unimaginable, a Bigfoot, as real as the legends that were being told. The woods fell silent, our flashlights trembling in our hands. Our bravado turned to terror as we locked eyes with the beast. Its gaze was piercing, its expression inscrutable. It didn't seem hostile, but its presence was suffocating. And I bet you anything that's that infrasound. We took a cautious step back, but the creature mirrored our movements, always maintaining a hauntingly close distance. Panic set in as we realized that we were being herded like prey deeper into the woods. Ooh, that must have been freaky. Knowing that they're kind of hurting you. The growling continued, echoing through the trees, each sound more sinister than the last. We stumbled through the underbrush, desperately trying to escape, but the creature was relentless, always lurking just out of sight. Hours passed in what felt like a nightmare as we raced through the labyrinth of trees and shadows. I couldn't help but think of all the tales I'd heard of people who'd gone into the woods and never returned. Were we next? Oh, this is perfect. Man, I'm going to need you to write me some more too, Eric. Um, Exhausted and disoriented, we finally burst out of the forest, gasping for air and relief. The creature, our tormentor, remained hidden among the trees. Its presence was still palpable. As we dove away from the haunted place, I couldn't shake the feeling that we'd come face to face with something primal, something beyond our understanding. In a city where Bigfoot encounters were just tales to scare kids around a campfire, I had become a living legend, a survivor with a chilling story to tell. Those were two awesome stories. I really want to hear some more from those people. So, Eric, Edgar, if you guys are listening, expand on that. That would be awesome. Um, so, what's funny is the difference between a skeptic and a quote unquote believer is just an experience. Um, a lot of people are still looking for evidence, and they're looking to prove things scientifically. I honestly laugh at that a little bit because I mean I've been having these kinds of experiences since I was a little kid, and I think the difference is that they're so ingrained in searching for the truth in man-made uh, knowledge. It's that apple, man. You guys gotta stop sucking on it. You know what I mean? They want evidence and they want this and that. When the point is facts are malleable in the quantum field. You could have a paper that says 1, 2, 3, and you can manifest 1, 2, 4 on there. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, this is the whole Mandela effect. And, this is maybe another topic for another show, but the only difference between a skeptic and a believer is an experience. Because I tell you what, like, while you guys are still trying to figure out, or still trying to figure out, it's a little different now that the government's admitting it, but if aliens existed, I'm trying to figure out what they want, and I think I've made some headway on that. I'm telling you, it has all to do with cerebral spinal fluid. But I guess that's another show. But yeah. So you skeptics, the only thing that I can tell you, and the skeptics is such kind of a strong word. What I want to say is, you people who don't already know not so much believe. Know that these things are out there. It has more to do with your lifestyle. What you should do if you want to have an experience is A, stop eating, start maybe eating celery or broccoli. Basically, your rule should be if God didn't make it, you can't eat it. Only water, and refrain from sex and any kind of that stuff. You know what I mean? Do not expel your precious fluids. And I kid you not, within 30 days, you'll probably have your first experience, your first vision, your first sighting, your first something. So those are two things, very important things. Keep your body clean and do not expel any kind of precious fluid, because you got to remember the cerebral spinal fluid is found in your spine and your brain and in two other places, which is your urine and your fecal matter. So do not do not be a glutton, okay? You guys want to have your first experience, that's how you do it. You don't go searching for it in some sort of encyclopedia or textbook, okay? But after that, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed. So as we wrap up today's Tales of Wonder and the Unexplained here at the Paracosm Cafe, I want to extend our warmest thanks for joining us. We hope you have enjoyed these stories as much as I have. Remember, our cafe is always open, ready to serve you more intriguing and mysterious tales. So mark your calendars, set your reminders, and return to the Paracosm Cafe for your next journey into the extraordinary. Until next time, my name is Michael Acevedo, your guide to the enigmatic, signing off. Keep sipping your coffee, keep exploring the unknown, and keep coming back for more adventures with us at the Paracosm Cafe. Thank you for having a sip with me today.